Greetings, family. Greetings. Monday Talks. Back at it again. A few topics to talk about today. Welcome, everyone. Greetings. It's been 2 weeks, actually no, 3 weeks since I've done the Monday Talks. So, quick one. I was in Nigeria about 2 weeks ago. It was amazing. Myself and my good brother Jeff, we went there and man, it was magical, man. Lagos, Nigeria is something else, yo. It's a new scene, big shout out to Spectrum. Ronnie and Delnoy are doing a great job out there. Big shout out to them. Bonjour, good afternoon, Bibaralakwe, pardon. Mbote, boa tarde, tudo bem? Everything cool with you guys? Yes, I. All right, family. So yeah, as I was saying, Nigeria is crazy, man. Crazy energy. I mean, wow. Big shout out to the guys at Hard Rock Cafe, man. Lagos was crazy. What can I say? It's a new scene. It has a massive potential. There's a lot of assumptions about Nigeria. Of course, it is perceived as a crazy city that it's not safe, etc., etc. But it's just like any places in the world. You just gotta know how to navigate in certain environments, and you have to understand that you are obviously a foreigner, whether you're black, white, whatever your origin, and you must respect the place where you go to, and you must also understand the dynamics. Well, with that being said, I mean, I've had no bad experiences personally. And it's not like I'm going in an over sheltered, cocoon and, completely protected and shielded from the outside world. Obviously not. We go handle our things, go on the streets, meet people, interact. So my experience is not necessarily deep, but it's relevant enough for me to share with you that it has been so far, and it was my second time going to Lagos, that it has been so far rather amazing. Of course, there's massive disparities if you want to talk about wealth and stuff like that, but it's unfortunately what it is. And we must understand, also that this creates, in a way, the beauty of the city, of Lagos, because obviously Lagos is not just Nigeria. It's the capital city of Nigeria, but it's indeed this hustle. There's this mentality of like never giving up. That's amazing about Lagos. Everybody is hustling. Everybody is up to something. Everybody is moving towards their goals and trying to make things happen and grinding. And it comes sometimes at the cost of also if you're not smart enough, you'll be taken advantage of, that's what it is. You have to stay alert. So anyway, experience was amazing. I see a great future for Afro house music in Nigeria, and obviously house music in general. I think that the movement is at its premises, and it's about to be something rather massive indeed. Yes, brother. Yes, thank you very much for the correction. You're right. It is the biggest city in Nigeria, the capital. But I think Abuja isn't Abuja the political capital of the country. I think Lagos is the economical capital of the country, if I'm not wrong. But anyway, with that being said, the experience is amazing. If you manage to do yourself the favor of traveling there, please do. There's quite a lot to be experienced, and it's quite amazing. Fast forward to Rotterdam this weekend. Sorry, it was crazy, man. Cloud 8, big shout out to Sin City and her crew. Man, it was my return to the beautiful city of Rotterdam after almost a year. And what a night, yo! What a night! Big shout out to everyone. Big thank you to Anouk as well for bringing the Nag Champa. I appreciate that. You know, it's always a great party. It's always a great feeling. The venue was packed. There was a line all the way until 4:30 in the morning, which is pretty crazy knowing that the club closed at like 5:30 or something like that. So, great work on the promotion. Definitely, because it doesn't matter who you book. It can be a headliner or you name it. If there's not a good promotion, there's not going to be anybody coming to the venue and attending the event. So, massive shout out to everyone for the great promotional job. Rotterdam was lit. Rotterdam was lit, man. Beautiful people. Oof, my God. Yeah. And as we talk about Rotterdam and the vibe, and I need to go back slightly a week before to Nigeria, where I was actually really amazed at the reaction towards my latest single, Lagos Vibes, with George J.O.J. Met the guy for the first time when we were performing at Hard Rock Cafe. He came through with his brother, and cool dude, man. Very humble. Stayed all the way to the end of the show, and man, Lagos Vibes is just the tune. I mean, if you haven't checked it yet, you gotta check it out. Oh, that's the instrumental version. Even me, I'm like, okay. Ooh. Oh. Hey. Get it. Lagos Vibe is available on all the digital platforms, so make sure you go and get your hands, your ears, your dancing moves, everything that you need to be doing, make it happen, man. But you need this tune in your life. Lagos Vibes by yours truly and J.O.J. And so as the week starts today, I was also thinking about a few things that are, I think important. If some of you saw my stories yesterday, I posted something about people changing their moods like the weather and lacking consistency. This is the thing, right? I understand that no one's move can ever be linear, but merci beaucoup. Thank you guys. For those of you already having it, massive thank you. But you have to understand that there is importance in being consistent with your exchange with people, especially people with whom you've had a good relation. I would say good first encounter, and conversation is great. Might not have been necessarily the friend of your life, but I hate when people you've had a great link up with somebody, and then eventually you lose touch of one another. You meet again some month later, and then that person is completely like weird and very guarded. I understand, but also that's bullshit, because a couple of months ago when we met, you were a super cool dude or super cool girl, and we had a great conversation, and now you want to act all like, and these are simple examples, but I'm saying, man, it's, it's related to fear sometimes, and I always pose myself the question, what are you scared of? What are we scared of, We tend to do that, and it's I don't know if it's a mood thing or if it's just because of the thank you very much of the fact that we are shy. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't always get to explain it, but I found it to be a bit boring to me personally, and I don't like to dwell with this kind of energies. I am the way I am all the time. Obviously, they have my times where I might be a little bit out of touch and feeling a little bit, disconnected because I got my other things going on in my head. But I'll still try my best to be as nice as I possibly can. It's important. It's very important to be nice. It doesn't cost anything. It might be a little fake, because you might not feel like being nice, but it doesn't cost you anything to be nice and say, hey, how you doing? Yeah, you cool, blah, blah. Just engage, and you will see. Sometimes positive energy is contagious. Somebody might uplift your spirit and might give you a completely different outlook on something that bothered you in the first place. I'll share something with you about my trip to Nigeria. Sorry to come back with this, but I mean, man, it's been amazing. This trip was crazy dope. You know what? I met this guy. So we're doing the stopover in Casablanca from Lisbon, catching our flight from Casablanca to Lagos, Nigeria. And as we are queuing to board the flight, there's this tall gentleman, beautifully dressed and elegant, proper king. You understand? The guy, his demeanor, his behavior, everything about him was just like royal. And I was like, oh, I like that. So eventually, as we were queuing, we were right behind him, Nuno and myself. And the lady is giving him a hard time for his sitting. He's like, look, I booked my seat because he's a very tall guy. He's probably, 6'8", so really, really tall. And she's like, well, there's nothing I can do about it. And he looks at me and I said, look, I'm pretty sure we can work it out. She was not being nice. She was not being cooperative. And he was starting to feel, some type of way. And I was like, oh, don't worry about it, man. I started chopping it to him in a little bit of my Nigerian pidgin. And he laughed. He looked at me and said, okay, cool, let's go. So as we were waiting to board the flight, which we had to wait because it was a technical problem, we started just this conversation. Fast forward, we end up on being on the plane, and obviously we talk about music, we talk about arts, and I ask him what he's doing, and it happens to be that this guy is in the tech industry, and he's a Nigerian guy who moved back from the U.S. with his family to live in Nigeria and establish himself, as well as his family and his business back home, which was amazing. As we talk about various things related to business and stuff and serious properly technical conversations, I know myself when I travel I'm not a bad person, but I don't necessarily interact with people. I'm not looking for interactions as I travel. I'm not much of a talker. I'm in my world. I'm thinking. When I travel is really the time that I get to really. I dropped that whole mile though. I don't know where you were, but I did drop it in Rotterdam on Saturday at Birdman. I did drop it. But yeah, when I'm traveling, it's really the time that I have to, just focus on myself and think about my plans, my ideas, take notes, etc. So I don't really interact much. But anyway, I did interact with this brother, and that's what's up. And as we talk about business and strategies, and how does he make it work in a country like Nigeria, and the competitivity in Africa, etc., etc. And he said so many valuable things to me that apply to my business directly. I mean, the music business is tremendously evolving at a fast pace. There's no way you can deny that. Obviously, the technology is evolving. The way we consume music is evolving. So, there was all these sorts of conversation relating and pertaining to that and how to adapt to the ever growing way of consuming things. And so what I'm trying to explain to you is that by just being nice to somebody, by engaging in a conversation with somebody, obviously you have to feel the energy, right? If it feels right and there's a good flow, boom. We spoke for the 4 hours on that flight. Actually 4 hours of just non-stop conversation. And he's sitting there and I'm sitting in economy, right? And he's like, hold on, but you were this guy, right? And for the nothing I know about you as an artist, but you seem to be pretty well established, etc., etc. And how come you're not traveling business? And I said, well, you see, we do travel business, but sometimes, it's not always about business class and, being fancy. You have to always end up son, la place. You have to also be understanding of who you're working with, and sometimes when you're building a vision, you're building a future, you got to work hand in hand with the people you're building this with. So what I said struck him because, and I asked him the same question. I was like, "You're a tech guy. How come you're not in a business class or first class? On the plane? That kind of sounds strange as well." He looked at me, laughed. He said, "For the very same reason." He said, "Except that, to the same parallel, I would say, I'm not trying to make create additional costs, where there's no need, because at the end of the day." It's all about understanding the bigger picture. You can get the business class, you can get all this fancy shit, but we are all building our little empires, and we hope that all of the things we're building are going to get big, and go beyond the realm of our understanding or capacity sometimes, and we have to prepare. And one of the things that kills us as independent workers and entrepreneurs is that we don't always know how to make the difference between what is an entrepreneur and what is being self-employed. And this is something that struck me. And when I say struck me, I mean it struck me profoundly, because there's this guy that he actually put me upon. There's a South African brother whose name is Vusi Tembekwayo, and this guy, I actually just dive into this guy's words. Very interesting. He said, the difference between an entrepreneur and a self-employed person. An entrepreneur is somebody that's building a business so that whenever she or he steps away from that business, the business continues to work. Right, and they can dwell with other opportunities and dive into other, prospects. A self-employed person is somebody that's only working to attend to their basic and most necessary needs, and so whenever that person steps out of the business, that business is dormant, right? And this is the mentality we have to get out of. And it spoke to me, because at the end of the day, yes, I am an entrepreneur at heart. I believe I was to that point of the conversation. I was enlightened to the littlest to how little I knew about what being an entrepreneur really was. Even though yes, I was doing entrepreneur-like movements, I was just not yet setting my mind as an entrepreneur, right? Because the problematic is that when you're an independent worker, you're self-employed, right? Before you become an entrepreneur, as a self-employed person, you're attending to your most important needs, paying your bills, making sure your rent is in time, making sure that you cover the important stuff, rent, bills, food, and a little extra for whatever fun you may want to have, etc., etc. But if you come to think of it, that's very short-minded. And not that you're lacking vision. You may have the vision, but you spend too much time. You spend too much time in your vision, and you spend not enough time, really working towards manifesting the vision, right? And in order for that to be, you have to really allocate things accordingly. So when you receive money, if you have a fixed salary, it's a bit difficult. But if you are hustling and you have different, you have 2-3 jobs, or you have 2-3 businesses that you're doing at the same time, it could be a consultancy, whatever the case may be. You have to really look into your finances, and because incomes as an independent worker, as a self-employed person, your income varies, right? You don't always have the same income every month, because you're not getting a regular salary at the end of the month, right? So you have to make sure that you allocate things accordingly. You have to have money that you save, that is for moments where your incomes are a little bit low. You have to have money that you also use for investments, for your future, etc., etc. And you have to have also money for leisure and stuff like that, and obviously attending to your monthly and daily costs of life. The truth is, we know these things. We consciously understand them, but we unconsciously not understand them in the sense that we are not letting that sink deep enough. Because when the money comes, let's say you're making 5,000 at this month or 1,000 euros at the end of the month, obviously it's impossible for you to visualize beyond that because you're like, shit, I'm already having issues handling and controlling this money that's coming. How can you expect me to have a bigger vision or a greater vision of my future when what I'm getting is that? Well, the truth of the matter is you have to really dig deeper. We're in the era of internet now. There's so many things you can do that can bring you money. Obviously, nobody's asking you to be, as the Nigerians will say, a yo boy. You don't want to go and create schemes. But the point of the matter is that whatever your passion is, let's say you like painting, this kid reached out to me the other day. He's a painter. He does great art, by the way. And he was selling his paintings for 100 euros, 300 euros. I think that was pretty much the price that he was selling his paintings for. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna look into it and I'm gonna invest, into this guy. Maybe buy one or two paintings from him. Never know. But you see, that's a hustle that probably this guy is doing on the side of something else that he's doing every day. You have to figure what it is that is moving you. What it is that you can create as an opportunity for you to generate, income additionally to what you're getting already. I'm not you, only you can figure that out. As an artist, as a musician, applying directly to my example, okay, I'll make my money from gigs, from shows, right? But I also make my monies from the little royalties that we're making from streaming music, because now music doesn't necessarily sell anymore. Actually, as a matter of fact, it doesn't sell at all, or very little. So it's streaming. The thing is that there's so many artists nowadays. There is this massive market for all of us, but at the same time, it's very competitive. So you have to come up with hard work. You have to come up with serious dedication to make sure that you stay relevant, and you create avenues. So you have to come up with Spotify playlists. You have to come up with diversified sounds. I mean, that's me. Some guys, they just stick to one type of sound, and that's what they do, and it works well for them, and it's perfect for them. But for me, it's really like I'm experimenting. I love to experiment with sounds. Some stuff I'm gonna do will be well received, some won't, whatever. But the point is, you have to create a body of work that allows you to then tap into sometimes even unexpected side of your personality, of your creativity. I didn't go to school. I stopped school at how do you call this? At college. I didn't go to university, right? I have no diplomas besides, I'm a diamond. My initial job, I'm a diamond cutter, so that's the only diploma I have, technically. But I'm not exercising that diploma. I'm not working in that field anymore for many years now, and so my only diploma is my 18 years career in this business and being, consistent enough to be relevant nowadays, and hopefully to be consistent enough to be relevant tomorrow. And that's what it is. It's about your relevancy. When people say you're only as good as your latest hit, it's true and it's not true. I believe that you have to understand. Thank you, middle school. You have to understand that you're only as good as what you want to be and how far you wish to be. I'm reading a lot. I mean, I'm reading stuff like this, for example. I'm buying these kinds of magazines. I'm reading books about motivation and how to stuff like this. I'm reading books about spirituality, the mind. I'm reading so many different things that I would have not done when I was much younger, because I wasn't just into these things. You know what I mean? So the bottom line is, you have to educate yourself. You have to be on top of your business. Baron, what do you do, brother? Yes, indeed. Yes, Marcel, merci beaucoup pour ce message. And so, The point is you have to educate yourself, right? It's not easy, believe me. Me, I'm a guy, I get bored very quickly. So I have to have at least five things that I'm reading more or less around the same time, because I have to keep my mind working all the time. I love that. I love entertaining myself like that. You know what I mean? So the thing is this, you have to educate yourself because there's no freedom without education. School is important, but honestly, it's not, man. I mean, I won't lie to you. I mean, for those, me, I've not. Again, you're talking to a guy that's the only thing it might be important for. Excuse me, is maybe to give you a structure, right? But it was me. I'm the type of guy. School was not meant for me because I wasn't able to deal with the structure of schools, right? So I'm more of a self. I learn by myself, right? I like to learn what I want to learn, and so I'm passionate about economy. I love geopolitical stuff. I'm very much into these things. I'm not your 100% artist that just wants to do art and that's all they want to do. I'm not like that. I'm a business guy. I love so many different things, right? So it's like, how do I bridge all these things together? And that's why this trip to Nigeria and this conversation of 4 hours with his brother was very enlightening to me because I realized that, damn, bro, you have all the right ideas, but you're not applying them the right way. You're selling yourself short in some ways. You're not allowing your full potential to manifest itself because you're believing that because you don't have certain means, then you're not able to do that. It's not true. And that's the mistake all of us do. Oh, I need more money for this. Oh, I don't have enough time for that. Oh, this or that. No, man. Stop making excuses. It's all about understanding what you got in your hands and working. Make the plan, right? And this is something that he said to me. Work on your offline before you go online. In other words, me, that's something that I don't necessarily I wasn't necessarily doing for all these years, taking notes, and I've been starting to do that for the past few months, taking notes, because I consider that I have a good memory. So I've always had this maybe contemptuous way of believing that I didn't need to take notes because I have everything in my head. But sometimes writing down is very important because it helps you materialize the vision, right? And anybody successful, if you're into this type of things, analyzing how the pattern of success functions, people take notes. They write down their vision, they write down their plans, etc. So the offline is literally just making sure that your base is solid. It's super exciting to be the owner of your business, to be your own boss and to make your own schedules, this and that and the other. And you will see there's something that's very true. You end up not following through. Of course, I'll give you this example. I have this plan here. I have this thing here. Let me just move this, show you guys. So I have this thing here that I put down. This is pretty much my plan for a week, right? The truth of the matter is that my artistic mind gets conflicted because as an artist that I am, I don't like to have a strict schedule because my creativity, is not something that comes on command, right? Yet I need the structure so that I can run the business, I can run the vision, and I can apply it. So again, you have to sometimes accept a little bit of violence, should I say, and violate yourself in the sense that, going against that need of absolute freedom to structure yourself because no success can really be long lasting without a good structure. So in other words, focus on making sure that when it goes online, when you actually launch your business, when you actually launch your brand, whatever it may be, even if you're about to post a picture on Instagram and you want that picture to have an impact, most of you, without even knowing it, you're already doing it. You're working on the effects, you're retouching the picture, the light, the this, the that, making sure that it's on point, and then you're posting it. This is the thing. Apply that same methodology to your business and you will be successful. There's just no way you won't be unless you're really, cursed. Which even if you was, believe me, man, who God has blessed, no one shall curse, right? So why would you not be? Why would you be less blessed than another, right? So really believe in yourself. Work on making sure that your offline is on point, so that when you launch it, it's running. Now, will it be running on its own? Of course not. But at least you've made sure that you've laid the layer, the main basis is solid. This is something when I started my label, my label as an independent, self-employed guy, should I say, I had no knowledge about. I was like, okay, I was told, okay, you need to launch your own label so that you can own your catalog, and eventually you can give some of your music to other labels to help you grow the brand. But you should just focus on having your own company. I did that, and yeah, I wasn't well educated. Found out that I had not paid certain things when it comes to social security, because you have to pay social security, and as an artist you're like, I'm just doing arts, and I'm and then you got to pay for that bill eventually, and again, it's believe me, it's a pain in the ass. There's a lot of these things that I hate to do, but I'm working. But I've had to work towards making sure that I catched up upon this this lack of knowledge, and pay for it. And now what I'm working on is making sure that the next move, the next step is to have people that I'm going to hire that will be working on the things that I don't have time to work on. Because obviously, this is the thing, you cannot do everything perfectly. As much as I love to do a lot of things, I'm not good at everything. So you have to understand that people have their own dreams, they have their own vision, they have their own plans, and as long as what you're giving them is a sense of it has value for them, adds value to their lives, and also helps them maybe build their own dreams on the side of what they're doing for you or with you, then you will have a great team. And there's a guy called Gary Vee, for those of you who might be following the guy, who says don't hesitate to fire. Whenever you see somebody, thank you. I appreciate that. We will look into it. And when you see somebody not being up to par, you gotta fire them. You cannot play the whole game of I'm gonna be tolerant and allowing that person to show me that he can do better. I'm a people's guy, and I want to believe that everyone is capable of doing better. So I want to give people chances. But it's true that a lot of people don't understand that by giving them a chance and them, messing it up, it comes out of your pocket, and it comes at a cost, obviously. But I think that the human being is capable of so much that if you know, first of all, how to pick the team and you pick the people right, you will certainly have no issue whatsoever with motivating them and making sure that even if you don't have money to pay them, right? But you will have people who will be dedicated enough to believe in what you're doing, so that when the money does come in, you can pay them for the true value of their work and their contribution to your brand. About people who want to work with their brothers, sisters, and family. I've always been taught that, and as much as it sounds great, it's, in my opinion, it's not a great idea. In my opinion, or working. I mean, there's cases, obviously exceptional cases where it works very well and everybody knows their place, etc., etc. Or couples working together, and this whole like, oh my God, power couple. I'm skeptical when it comes to all these things. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, because I've seen it working, but I believe that it's great to inspire and help one another with our respective things. But I'm gonna do me, you're gonna do you. I'll help you when I can, you help me when you can, and we keep it this way, because I think that, again, that's me though. But you don't want to come to a point where you're gonna have issues putting people in their place when they're not doing things the right way. And also, they're gonna feel shy or a certain way about telling you about your own shit as well, because you don't need no yes woman or yes men on your side. You need people who can keep you in check when needed, and if obviously needed. So yeah, with that being said, it's a lot of information. Some of you who have been, following this conversation for a little while, this monologue, I would have to say. I'm sorry about that. But I don't impatient. If you guys want to jump into the chat, we can obviously interact about the topic and others. But I think that it is utterly important to make sure that we have structures in our lives when it comes to independent workers, self-employed, entrepreneurs. If you aspire to be an entrepreneur, you really got to be that entrepreneur. You can't just be talking about entrepreneurship and not act as such. You have to be innovative. You have to be creative. You have to really question yourself. I'm, for example, here for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be home. That's what I'm going to be doing. Tomorrow I have an activity that I have to do. But then besides that, I'm like pretty much focused on putting things down. Now that I have all the ideas, I have the concepts, I have my plans together as far as the vision, put them down on paper. Who do I need to reach out to? For example, I'll give you one additional example about artists. I invested a lot of money on PR companies. When I say a lot of money, I invested a lot of my little money that it was already little enough. And I had to invest it because people were telling me that, yo man, you don't understand. This is the thing for you. It's really gonna help you. Just invest on a PR. Okay, cool. I invested. I won't even tell you. Look, if I was to tell you the amount of money that I have lost. Well, I won't say lost because at the end of the day, it's an investment. I invested on myself. But I believe that a lot of people will consider this as a loss because clearly, that money never came back in my pocket, or at least hasn't come back in my pocket just yet. But the bottom line is, I invested the money. I made sure that it was wise, without expecting necessarily an absolute return, but I was expecting some kind of returns. Some of those PR ventures were great. That's how I was able to be on French, national news and et cetera, certain magazine, and be on the billboard and you name it. The Fader, those were great opportunities. Even though the Fader, that was actually an opportunity that came along the way that I didn't have to pay for, thankfully, but nonetheless. And so you spend all this money to get your name out there, to be recognized, to be acknowledged, to be known by more people. And what happens? Yes, it works to a certain extent, but that's not necessarily going to generate work for you. It's going to generate awareness, but it won't necessarily generate work. Because the industry is changing so much. I'm talking about artists now, and I'm not even talking about just about music. In general, arts. It's such that the usual stuff that would work back in the days where you would release for example a new song or a new album, and you would do this whole promo plan, have the radio play the song, and automatically, or you would go perform at this club in London, and then automatically 6 or 7 or 10 other clubs around the world would be, oh my God, he played there, we're booking him or her for our venues. This doesn't work anymore, and once you understand this paradigm, then you have to create other things, right, to help you survive and to help you, continue spreading your sound and your name and what it is that you do in your artistry at the lowest cost possible, right? Because people will come to you, well, you got, give me 500, 500, 1,000, 1,500. Usually it's about $1,500 to $2,500 or euros for PR, fairly decent PR actually. And we're gonna get you. We don't guarantee, but we're gonna try to get you placements. So first of all, there's no guarantees. Obviously, you cannot ask them to give you guarantees, but still, you're expecting some sort of return for the money you're putting in their pockets. And yes, you have to value the work, but then at the end of the day, it's like, yeah. So it's a very interesting world. All that to say that as an independent, we tend to, our young entrepreneur, we tend to want to invest in this type of things, sometimes too early, because of course there's the eagerness, there's this desire to be known and to become in demand. But I believe that if you let time do the work for you as well, and if you're consistent enough, there is no way, absolutely no way, you won't succeed and you will not be attracting the right eyeballs or ears towards you. Believe me, I'm as hungry as I was when I started, and it's 18 years in the game. Sorry for repeating myself, but it's very important. You don't understand the amount of depressed times and low battery moments where I was just wanted to give up. But I just had this, amazing and, yeah, man, super determined vision for myself. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to give up. I'm going to continue, And 18 years later, I'm here, And yet, I'm still not satisfied about a lot of things, Not that I'm not giving thanks for what I have and all the support and all the love, don't get me wrong. But, I believe that if one day I get satisfied and comfortable, I think that I might need to stop and do something else. This desire to continue striving and to continue doing better, have this consistent desire to enhance what I do. For example, when I came back from my show in Rotterdam, as I was playing, I did 3 mistakes when I was doing my sets, and they were very much avoidable, but I did them. Very few, if almost nobody noticed them, because obviously it was the time how to trick certain things. But still, I was not happy about that. I was like, no, that's some serious bullshit. I need to amend that and make sure that it doesn't happen next time. Why? Because I needed to study the record better, so that I know when the break was coming, this and that and the other, and do a better transition and make sure that there was a few things that I was like, okay, I know exactly what I need to do, right? So you cannot pretend to be an expert in anything if you're not going to work and dedicate time for it. It's great to do so many things, but it's more important to do 1, 2, maybe 3 things maximum and do them very well than to do 10 and do them completely wrong and then complain that nothing's happening the way you want it to happen. Greetings, Mascarado. Yes, indeed. What it do? Well, yes, I'm happy I didn't give up myself, indeed. But it gets to you, huh? It gets to you in a way that's crazy. Nigga Fox, what it do? But you hang on, you hang on and you stay courageous, and it's a tremendously courageous job, huh? Being a musician, being an artist, being a creative, it's not easy. And it's even more brutal if you are an idealist and you refuse to see things for what they are, But yeah, long story short, look after your money. Make sure that your plan is well put together on the offline aspect of things before you go online. Make sure that you think in a way that you gotta split your income in the various necessities, between what you need to pay every month, between what you need to save, and between what you need to have to invest into your business. Sometimes you don't have that opportunity, but you have to create the opportunity. You have to make sure that you are proactive. You're looking to always push forward, and don't worry so much about image. At the end of the day, the truth of the matter is that it's okay to sometimes be behind. You're never always going to be on top of the game. It doesn't exist. But that's going to be safe for another Monday Talks, which, as a matter of fact, I need to take note of. We are never always on top, and it's okay to actually step back, get cold a little bit. Always hot. For what? Relax. I'm actually planning for the first time in my in my adult life, I'm planning my first vacations. Can you believe that? I'm planning my first vacation for next year. And what vacation are we talking about? 1 week. But that's my vacation. That's gonna be my me time. That's gonna be the time I'm gonna be treating myself. I'm not trying to treat myself to being drunk or anything like that. I want to go travel to a country where I'm going to be able to meditate, enjoy solitude, and be in a state of of gratitude and just think back on all these years, so that I can see the work that has been done and what is to be done for the future, right? Take those moments, man. It's important. We make excuses for a lot of things. I'm the number one when it comes to like taking time for myself. Oh, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. And yet sometimes we waste 30 minutes looking at your Instagram feeds, liking pictures of girls, this and that and the other. So it's like it's cool, but it's, at the end of the day, and it's okay. I'm not saying that it's a terrible thing, but it's a terrible thing when you spend your time doing these things. You know what I mean? You have to understand. You have to allocate priorities. Yeah, well, I have to, right? It's funny because I'm starting to I'm feeling that I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired, but it's physically. It's not, and it's a little bit mentally as well, because it's like there's a lot of work, there's a lot of things to do, and obviously, I'm able to take on the pressure. I've been taking a lot of pressure for all these years, and on so many aspects. So it's not a problem, but I do need to take time for myself. If I want to be able to last at what I do, because it's okay to be successful. It's okay to want to be the best and whatever the fuck it may be. Pardon my French, but if you don't have the right approach to it, as in making sure that you take care of yourself, you're healthy. Yeah, you might not last long doing it. So I've seen a lot of guys, and obviously all of you guys have probably seen a lot of guys burning the candle from both sides, and it's not like that. Thankfully, I don't do no drugs, and I drink very little alcohol, and it helps. But obviously, I'm a foodie, right? So there's a lot of things that you gotta be doing to make sure that you stay up to par and to stay away from negativity. That's number one, and your own negativity, as a matter of fact. So that's important. Blessings indeed. Morocco in the building. All right, family. Well, that was it. If you guys want to jump in the conversation, you want to send a chat request, we can talk. We have 10 more minutes or less, actually, if nobody wants to jump in. And I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing anyway. But yeah, man, thank you guys for tuning in. It's always a pleasure chatting with you. And yeah, don't be so shy, guys. For those of you who don't know what to say, make sure you prepare yourself and start engaging. I mean, I'm always interested to see what you guys think, and not just read comments, but jump in the video and let's interact. It's always a plus. Always a plus. But yeah, and if there's anything that you guys think of that you think we should be chatting about, DM me, and we try to address that for the following Monday talks. On these words, family, may you all have a fantastic week ahead. Success, great health first and foremost. Success in what you do. Stay committed, stay dedicated to what you do, and yeah, man, keep yourself in check. It's very important. It's very, very, very important. I think that we have to be careful as to not getting too comfortable sometimes. On these words, family, many blessings. How long you think you're gonna DJ for? Good question. I don't know, man. I'm still young. I'm not. I may sound like I'm old, but well, I've had quite a lot in my life, but still have a lot more to experience. But I thank you very much. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to be, well, I don't want to say anything that's going to be like, oh my God, I want to be 50 and DJ, because obviously there's a lot of my peers that are, 50 plus, even close to 60, that are amazing DJs to this day, and they travel the world. So I think I would want to DJ for as long as I possibly can do it. But I'm aiming at doing a lot more and different things by the time I reach my 45th anniversary, which is going to be in 9 years now. So it's hey, yeah, it's interesting. It's not so it's actually not so far away, huh? But I believe that time is what you make of it. And since I am one to really make sure that I use it wisely and to the best of its capacity, I think yeah, well, we'll see. Time will tell. Tomorrow is never guaranteed, right? So God forbid anything bad happens, but for as long as I'm alive, hopefully I hope, and as long as I'm in demand, if people still want to have me a DJ for them and make them dance, that's gonna be what it is, And so yeah, so if it means that I have to DJ when I'm 65, so be it, Again, there's many cases of guys like that who are 60 plus and still rocking the decks, man. And some massive legends for whom I have massive respect. Yeah, man. It will be available for the next 24 hours, Tanisha. So you will have it available for the next 24 hours. Which, by the way, I don't understand why Instagram is not letting us download the live so I can upload it on YouTube. Doesn't make no sense. Anyway, fam, God bless. Y'all have a fantastic week. May the universe conspire in your favor, and may you all be man. Be successful at whatever you're doing. Merci, ma grande sœur. Merci. Merci beaucoup. Que Dieu te bénisse aussi. Des gros bisous en tous les cas. All right. Bless family. Take care. Peace.